Mrs. Priya, if you can let us know your child's age and where you're from.
Yeah, hi, good evening. This is Priya Narayanan from Pune, and my child is 10 years old.
Great. Thank you, ma'am. So, yes. So, pretty much everyone else we've already met before. So, before we go into the session, I'm just going to share something small with you all. So, this is about a friend of mine. So, I hope all of you can see my screen. Is my screen visible? Okay. So, now, so if you see here in the screen, so this kid's name is Arjun. So this was almost about 6 years back. So he was just under 14 years of age. So he won the President's Award for a unique code which he had developed. So with this code which he developed, he could track children using an Android application if they're in a bus or they reach school. Because for a parent, a child's safety is most important. So almost 6 years back, he made a unique project which will help the parents understand where the child is in real time by tracking through various devices across the route. So for this, he got the President's Award in 2014. And all that he started off was with something as simple as the basics of coding. And step by step, he went on, built many applications. And today, he's doing his complete education in a full scholarship. And not just that, he's rated as India's among the youngest CEOs. And he also runs two companies in the age of less than 20. So that's what exposure to coding by his father at a very early age of 7 or 8 could help this child do. Because once he found that hey, this is something interesting, I like to do this. The way he thought, the effort he could put in, everything went in that direction. So what happened step by step? He started figuring out what if I did this? Is this possible? Now what if this is the problem I want to solve? So every time, step by step, he took off some innovative way which challenged himself do better, and he did his complete education, right from ninth and up, completely free. That is what an inspiration can do. So once we see what our calling is, then we can easily pursue in that direction and take things forward so that we can even create that platform for children to build on and thereon have a consistent exposure to. So today we're going to see about the first level in what we handle, which we call as an introduction to programming. I'll quickly run you through some slides and then we'll see a practical activity as to what children will be doing in this course. The first and foremost is going to be the outline. So we're going to understand what is programming and we try to relate it to what we do in daily life. And then we talk about the software. Then we'll do one sample program in our software. And finally, we'll talk about what are the benefits in terms of the key takeaway skills a child would have. And finally, I'll be happy to take your questions. The session will not run beyond 30 to 45 minutes. We'll keep it short and simple. So first and foremost, what is a program? So if any of you would like to answer in chat box, we'll be happy to have your responses. Otherwise, we can keep proceeding to the next slide. So I'll just give you 2 seconds and just let us know what you think a program is in your own words. Okay. So now, in very simple words, now let's say I want to talk to my friend, or I want to talk to my mom, or I want to talk to you. I have a language or a medium of communication. So let's say all of us understand English. So I talk to you in English. But unlike us, the computer is not very straightforward. So no matter what you type in English or whatever, computer has its own language of understanding things. And this language in which you talk to the computer and give the computer a set of instructions, the information, and what it has to do in what sequence, kind of a logic, that is what we call the program. So programming is nothing but the language of computers through which we give the computer the instructions it has to follow and get our task done. And now, just to understand how the program is. So we have a sequence of what we do on daily life, right? So first, let's say we brush, we take a bath, and then we pray, we wear our clothes. So just like in our daily life, all of us follow a sequence knowingly or unknowingly. So this set of sequence, which you call as a logic or the path in which a specific activity has to progress, and that is what we tell a computer through a program. Say, for example, let's say I have to go to school. I would say first take the school bus, get down, climb the stairs, go to class, and sit down on your bench. So this is what I would tell my computer as well, but in the language it understands. But for that, we need a logic and a particular sequence, which we call as a program. Now for a program, we have three simple stages. First and foremost is what we call the plan. A plan is what do I want to achieve by doing this? In terms of writing, I'll say I want to achieve that Uday has to go to class 2A and take a class. Now that is the plan. Next, writing is nothing but writing the logic and giving the instructions to go there. So for example, Uday, first from your home, you take this particular route, go to the school. Once you're in the school, you tell the watchman you're here to take a class, and then you go to the principal's room and tell the principal you're here, and then go to the class and say that you're going to commence the class. The children will settle down, and once the children are settled down, you can take the class. So the writing or the instruction part is done. And then we go to the testing part. The testing part is nothing but, though I plan and though I do all this, what if the children are not there? What if it doesn't go as I planned? So in this, we get to understand, is what we planned and what we try to do really happening? If it is not happening, then again we go back to the planning stage, and then we start from the start and say, okay, this is my step one. I'm going to make this modification. This is what I learned, and I'm going to change. This is how we have a different stage of programming. And here what happens is the thought process of how a child will approach things will change. So you might see that my child is not organized and stuff, but with this what happens, the children will develop a way of logical thinking. They might say, okay, this is a sequence of activities I should do. That is one of the big benefits of programming. So then there are like so many languages. I mean, you can't even count how many are there. And every week or every month, a new language is born. But it is all about which is becoming famous, which is being accepted, and which is being user-friendly. So these are some of the popular ones. But we are going to use a software called PictoBlocks. So PictoBlocks is built on a software called Scratch, and Scratch is by MIT USA. So they have developed a tool which is graphical, so that children can easily understand and code step by step in the manner of drag and drop. So here the purpose is not to scare children with C-based code, make it complicated with the commas and all the punctuation, the syntaxes, because children, once they're scared of something, they will not get back to it. But it's very important that children get interested with the right platform to start with, because only then they get impressed and they pursue it further. So in Scratch, what happens is it's a huge support system, lot of options, and we can take it in a very playful and a game-based method. And by game-based, I mean the children have various tasks. They can build games of their choice. They can build scores. They can even animate their own drawings. Now, I had a child, who was a very good painter. And she asked me, why should I learn coding? I'm not interested. And when I told her how code can make her drawings and paintings come to life, she was very interested. So anything you want to say, even a small story you want to communicate, a small presentation that you have, anything can be done through code. And one more interesting thing which happened recently was, so one of our students of the past batch, so this child within the first and the second class, he learned how to build conversations and animations with software. And now what he's doing is he's making money. And how that is possible is for nearby the small stores who cannot really develop their own graphical designs or do Facebook ads and all that. So using this software, he's making animations which are becoming ads for these small stores, and they are paying him to do that. So how good is that? A 12-year-old making some pocket money. So here is where I help you understand what I mean by a C-based code or a syntax-based code and the graphical programming. So in a C-based code, I need to do all this to get this output. But in a graphical code, just these two drag and drop icons, which we call as blocks, will give us this output. So here we have no characters, nothing. But here we have an animated character that will interact with the children, making it very interesting for them. So now let us see how the software really looks like. And I'm going to help you understand by helping you build one small game with our software. So before we go to the software, there are a few things which you have to understand. The first and foremost, our hero or the character will be on the stage as always, and he can do all the actions which you're performing. This we call as the stage. Next, here we have our scripting area where we do all the code. And then here we have the block palette. So on the block palette has various options in terms of functions or what actions can be performed. And these are our blocks. So blocks are specific to actions and every action has a unique outcome. So we can arrange whatever we want in a unique pattern so that we can see the output of our choice. And here we have different modes and we can even upload our scripts. And we also have extensions where we can add new functions. So many things are possible with picto blocks. So if it is clear until what I've shared with you so far, you can please type yes in the chat box and then I will share the software with you and you can have a quick run through of what the software is and what we can do with it. If you're clear so far, please type yes in the chat box. Thank you, Ragini ma'am. So there's on the top right corner on your phone, on the bottom you see there's a chat icon. If you click on that, you can just respond to us. Thank you, Sanjay sir. Thank you, Preeti ma'am. Thank you, Tamil. Thank you. Yes. Now I'll be sharing the code, a sample code with you. So this is something which was made by one of our students in the last class, which was yesterday. So they made a small game and first let us play the game and you can just see how it works. So something made by a child. There may be some minor mistakes, but yes, the motive is what I would like you to see. So here what he's done is, now he is controlling the movement of the fish with his pointer and the shark will try to chase the fish. So every time the shark bites the fish, the shark is going to call out the points and the fish is going to change its form. And he's given a scoring of 10. So once the shark scores 10 points, the shark will say, I won. All right. So he's given a space to start. So that was a simple game made by a child. It was like 12 years old, if I'm not wrong. Just to see the code of how it works is, I'll just duplicate this code really fast for you so you can see what goes in the coding part. So there are many functions in the palette, which we call as the block palette. So in every function, there are multiple options. In terms of motion, we have all these options. Again, in terms of looks, we have all this. In sound, we have so much. It's the events, control, sensing, the math operations, and variables. And then there's some custom blocks, and these are additional special blocks. So apart from this, the child's imagination can go up because here we have so many characters to choose from, everything for different story, a different event, anything the child can imagine, it can be brought out in a wonderful way through animations and all through by code. So this is in terms of the sprites being chosen. So what I did was I just took animals because I needed fish. So this was the fish I had, and I can always find a shark. The shark I chose. And similarly, in terms of backgrounds, there's so many options again. So I chose underwater and I chose this one. So there are many things the child can choose. So once the child has chosen that, so what we do is, first and foremost is when we say the fish should follow our pointer. So for that, we just say in motion, there's something called glide to position. And here we say mouse pointer. And then we say that Do this continuously till I ask you to stop. So for that, we have something called a control, and here we choose forever. And here you can just choose which character you're animating first. So I've chosen the fish first, so I'm seeing the fish code. If I select the shark, I'll see the shark's code. So once I see the fish code, then I can see the fish costumes. So these are different costumes the fish has. I can make them appear as I wish. And every character has a sound. And I can control I can add more sounds. I can add more costumes if I want to and make it more creative. So now I know what are the costumes the fish has. So every time the shark bites the fish, I want to get a new costume. So what I did, I said, if the shark has touched my fish, then I want the fish to change the costume. So I went to sensing where I'm going to sense if the shark has touched me or not. So in that I've chosen touch option. So once the shark has touched the fish, I know that touching shark true. Fish touching shark true. Is it true or false? Now, if this is true, okay, then what should I do is the question. Okay, now if the shark has touched my fish, I want to go to the next costume, and that I find in my looks panel. And I'll just simply put go to next costume part. So as simple as now I'm going to put over here. Now you see there's a small difference in the code so far. First and foremost, I've used glide with the time and glide without the time. Here I've used go to. So in terms of go to, what happens is it goes directly without, let's say, going from here to here in a slow manner. It'll just jump from here, disappear, and appear over here. So this is a way we can even modify whatever we want. So I just would like to remove this. And I can just go back to motion, and I can say glide. I'll choose the time, and I wanted to follow my mouse pointer. So this part is done. And then I can choose whichever way I want to start my fish to move. So I can just say that as soon as I hit my space button, you can start, or as soon as I click the flag over here, you can start. So we have multiple options. So here we can say, you can choose this, and you can choose anything you want, whichever key. So you want to play a simple car race game, that also can be done. Up, down, left, right, speed increase, speed decrease, brake, all that can be applied. So here, this is as simple as this. Once you understand the software, it takes less than 5 minutes to do this part. And then the second part where the child has to think and apply is this one. So first and foremost, the child is learning to declare a variable. So Daryl is the child's name. So they've gone to variables and they've set this over here. So they've initialized or they've created a name, a variable called Daryl, and said it is 0 initially. Because only when the shark bites the fish, the count has to go up. Otherwise, the count has to remain at 0. And then to make sure that the shark is giving that biting function, here we see the costumes of the shark. So if you see costume 1 is an angry shark, costume 2 is a shark with the mouth wide open, and costume 3 is a tired shark. So if I have costume 1 and costume 2 switching fast, I get the feel that the shark is biting. So now it is all about my code which will make this process very automatic. And coming back to the sound part, I have chosen this. This is the usual one. And this is the sound which we saw in the code. This is a different one. So for our game, this sound will suit us the best. And then what we have done here, we want this game to go on till the score is reached to 10. So again, we chose the control, we took the forever block, and then to make the shark switch fast between both the looks, what we've done is, we've gone to looks, and then we said, hey, change your costume to the second look. So if you see here, shark C has come. I click this. Now, if I click shark A, this is the look. If I click shark B, this is the look. Now I want this to happen really fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this switching happen every 0.1 second. So it is 0.1 seconds. So I have my timing control where I will say just wait for 0.1 seconds and then go back to your next look. And then I can just bring this out and I can just duplicate this, put it on top, and instead of shark B, and here I will say in the first one B shark A, second one B shark C. Now just look at how it is going to appear on the screen. So can you notice this? The shark is biting continuously. So this function of the shark biting we have achieved. So next what we want is we want the shark to follow the fish. So what we've done is we've gone to motion again and we've said glide slowly. So take a second so that we can have the time to move our fish and make the fish escape and go to the fish. So wherever the fish is, the shark will go towards the fish. And then again what we need is we need to check if the shark has caught the fish or not caught the fish. So there what we did, we saw if the fish has been touched by the shark, and here we're going to see if the shark is touching the fish. So similarly, we go back to sensing and we're going to see touching. So here, if the shark has touched the fish, we have to come up with the action which have to perform. Okay, so first let me find out. Okay, now if the shark has touched the fish, if it is true, then what do I do? So only when the shark is biting the fish, I want the sound that the biting sound. Otherwise, there is no point in me randomly creating that sound. So what I'll do, I'll go back to sound and I'll say start the sound. Over here, I will choose the sound called bite. So see here. Now the shark is touching, so we have the sound. But when I just press this, the shark is not touching, you won't get the sound. So now what we're going to do is we're going to combine these two together. Okay? Now we'll see what happens. So in 1 second, the shark is moving from here to the fish and it is biting continuously. Correct? Okay. So next step, what we're going to do is we're going to find our scoring pattern. So here you have a scoring pattern. So here Daryl is the name of the child. So I can just choose any name I want instead of Daryl. I can say X. I'm setting X to 0. Next. Now I want to count every time the shark is biting the fish. So what I will say is if the shark is biting the fish, then add 1 to X. So for that I have operators over here and then I can say here I can just choose the variable just X and I'm going to say add 1 to X. So now added 1 to X, but then my X is still 0. I need to modify X to a bigger number. Now what I'll do, I'll go back to my variables and I'll say set X to X plus 1. Okay, so now I have two options here. Either is fine, either start the sound or play the sound until the biting is done. Next, now I have to compare if my value is less than 10 or not, because once it is 10 it is game over, right? And now the user or the child has to know what is my point. So for that what I'm going to say is I'm going to go back to looks and I'm going to say the score. So I'm going to say the score for 2 seconds. So let's just see what happens. So now I see the score. But now if you notice, it is waiting for 2 seconds before moving. That is too much of a time. So what I'll do, I'll use this to half a second. Next, I need to check if my score is lesser than 10 or not. So for that, I need to use my compare function. So what I do is, again go back to my conditions and I'm just checking if my score is less or not. So for that, I need to compare if x is equal to 10, true or false. So I go back to my operators and I see if it is equal or not. So if x is equal to 10, and then I'm just going to ask the shark to say I win. But the important part here is once the game is over, the game has to be stopped. Else, the game will go on forever. So what we'll do is we're going to say go back to control and we're going to say, hey, what is done. Let's stop. You won. Very good. So we're putting this inside the if block because we put it outside. Then even if the condition is true or false, the code will stop working. So now let's see what happens. Okay, now if you noticed, the fish is not moving. This is because I'm activating only this part of the code. Only if I hit spacebar, this code and this code will get activated. Otherwise, it will not get activated. Alright, now we go back to the shark and then we're looking for the sound to start saying that you want the shark to say that, hey, I won. So what we'll say is, we go back to text to speech and we're going to ask for the voice of a giant and we're going to say speak. We're going to say even. Now, the important part here is only after it says I win for 2 seconds, we'll speak I win for the next part. So now let's see what happens. Now I'll just to save time, I'm going to set x to 5. Right? So now I'm going to remove my old code. And I need my new code to start as and when I hit the space bar. So again, I'm going back to events. I'm going to say when space bar is clicked, you have to start. All right. So now let's see how this works. So right, so we see in the process, the child will learn the logical coding, the different concepts of code like if, forever, wait, while, if else, conditions, and operators, variables, different aspects of sound, intensity, sequence, timing. So all this can be learned in a very fast and easy manner. So that is the benefit which coding can help us. And this is a very simple project. So like this, we can build many complicated projects in a very short span of time. We can build a storyline, build a conversation, and many more. So many things are possible when coding comes in handy. So let me just help you with a few aspects of what coding can help us with. The first and foremost is logical thinking. So, what are the next steps, how to take the code, and all that the child can experience, not just learn, experience it and do it. And finally, attention to detail. So, every small mistake has to be corrected if we want the required output. So, your child will be able to understand the sequence, find out the small mistakes. So, the focus and the concentration will be improving. And more importantly, we get to think how we need to do the logic and create the sequence. And next, child has to come up with their own concept. So abstract thinking, algorithms will improve. And finally, empathy towards problems. So if you see here, we have concepts in code wherein we say, tell the child, can you make the story in which somebody is helping someone? For example, there was a story in which a child had made that one of the animals in the forest went to the king and said, "Dear king, we are suffering because there's no water." And then the king talks to a nearby jungle to the other king, and the king creates a truce between the two jungles, and animals of this jungle go to the other jungle and drink water from the river there. So these are kind of things a child is able to convey through a story. So at a subconscious level, we get to understand what is the child's real feeling, what is the child going through, and what does the child want to convey. And through stories and through code, we can help the child show empathy towards the problems. And we have many programs where we have to build games where a robot is disinfecting a room or sanitizing the road and all that. So different applications, even this, which we as adults might not able to tell a child, we can convey through the games and through the code. So a lot is possible. It is totally actually dependent on the child's creativity. You're giving the right platform, the right tools, and we can give the right support system and guidance to take things to the next level. So that is it from my side. If you have any questions, you can please unmute yourself and ask me. I'll be happy to answer the same for you. Oh, Priya, I'm sorry, I can see that the fish is changing the color. Let me just share my screen again with you. You see here, the fish has changed the color. So now it's this clownfish, and now it's become this. Now it's a goldfish. So every time there's a bite, the color is being changed. It's working fine. So if you have any questions on the course, yes, Sanjay, so you can please unmute and ask. So PictoBlocks is a software for both Windows and iOS. It's a proper exe file.
Yeah. Hi, Uday. This is Priya here.
Yes, Priya ma'am.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask you that the batch is run on online mode, I think, right?
Only online, ma'am.
Yeah. Is it done? Which platform are you using for online?
Same as you joined, ma'am. Google Meet.
Google Meet. Okay. And
The class will actually be a combination of 10 sessions, ma'am, running over 2 weeks, in which
yeah.
4 will be live classes like this, and 6 will be pre-recorded, so your child can pursue whenever you have time. So it's not only this time you should come. So we'll have Monday to Friday and Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sunday will be off. In the evening times, the class 1, 4, 7, and 10 would be live one-to-one with the instructor as the student group together. Remaining classes will be individual and purely online at your own pace.
All right.
So for the online platform, we have our own software or the platform which we call as Stempedia. So there you can just log in and get all the access to the courseware.
And do I need any software? I mean, during the course of the session to
Yes, ma'am. So this software will be sharing the link with you. You can just download and install that. Computer or laptop is mandatory for your child.
So he can use one laptop to for the session as well as for doing it in practical.
Yes, ma'am. One laptop is more than enough.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. So how was the session, ma'am?
It was fabulous. It was very nice. My
Thank you,
son
ma'am.
is also sitting with me. So
Thank you, ma'am.
he was simultaneously noting down whatever codes you were saying. He was just playing, you can say, with what you were teaching.
Very nice, ma'am. So it was clear, no, ma'am? You're able to understand?
Yeah, yeah, I
Thank
could
you, ma'am.
understand.
Thank you. Sanjay, sir, please.
Yeah, Uday, thanks for the wonderful session. Appreciate it. The four sessions you talked about, right? What all things are you going to teach in those four sessions?
So in the four sections, sir, the software has multiple aspects. So session one, you will teach the basic aspects, and on that basic aspects, the child will build projects on day two and day three. On day four, we will use more algorithms and more commands. Like that, it will be increasing order of commands, sir, and
Oh,
functions.
thanks. Oh, thanks.
Yes, ma'am. You can also do once the code is started, you can do it. Yeah, Priya, ma'am.
Yeah, when is the next batch starting?
We are planning around the 12th of June, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
Uh, yeah, one more thing. What is the timing you said? Uday?
It will be evening, sir, 4:30 or 5.
Okay, thanks.
We don't want to disturb the class hours.
Yeah, because the online classes go from 8 to 10 in Maharashtra, so just wanted to check with you.
Very true, sir.
Thanks.
Different cities are having different timings. So just to make sure
Yeah,
that
yeah.
nobody has the problem, we're keeping it in the evenings.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for the input, sir. Preeti ma'am, you want to share something?
Yeah, yes. For classes will be based on age criteria, am I right? I mean,
Right,
7 to
ma'am.
10.
Age 7 to 10 will be in one batch. 10 to 14 will be another batch, ma'am.
Okay. 7 to 10 also will be in the evening batch, right?
Sorry, ma'am?
7 to 10 also will be in the evening, right?
Correct, ma'am.
Okay, okay, thanks.
How was the session, ma'am?
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you. So if you have any doubts, I'll be happy to take them, or we can conclude the session for you. If your doubts are clarified, you can please type a thank you or a bye on the chat box. You may please proceed with your activities. Thank you, Sanjay sir. Thank you, Ashwin. Thank you, Preeti ma'am.